Watch me snap this ball through the waterfall behind me next on Sports Waves.
Live from Miami Grill in Dallas, Texas, with the music of Emerald City, this is Sports Waves. Now, here's your host, Mike Doocy.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Sports Waves. I'm Mike Doocy. Happy New Year to one and all. We hope you enjoyed our year-end special a week ago. An outstanding show that day and some outstanding guests today as well on Sports Waves. Bill Bates and Kevin Williams of the defending Super Bowl champion Dallas Cowboys will be with us. Also, as you saw on our opening segment, Dale Hellestrae with an incredible feat of accuracy coming up also in just a few moments. And from Green Bay, Edgar Bennett, the running back from the Packers who has contributed so much to their playoff success, will join us. We'll take a look ahead at the Cowboys-Packers matchup in the playoffs. Also a surprise or two along the way this evening, but let's begin tonight by welcoming one of the most successful free agents in the history of the NFL. 1983, Bill Bates came out of Tennessee. Many felt that Bates would never be fast enough to play in the defensive backfield in the National Football League. Well, for 12 years, Bill Bates, as a defensive back and as a special teams specialist, has proven everybody wrong. Welcome, the special teams captain for the Dallas Cowboys, Bill Bates. Well, Bill, not only a great welcome for you, 12 years in the league, and you've just signed to go another round with the Cowboys. You've signed an extension.
Yeah, myself and Dale Hellestrae prolonged the another year of being able to play. So it's a thrill for me, and it's the first time that I can remember in the past 5-6 years that I actually was signed before the season was over, or every year was.
Sure, take some of the excitement out.
Yeah, I guess every year it was a question, whether or not I could still play, and I think, I've proven that I can play in the NFL, and it just, every year we're saying, will he make it again? Will he make it? Well, it makes me feel good that they have confidence in me to know that I can help the team.
Before we talk more football, I wanted to ask you what Christmas time must be like at the Bates house. Four children, including triplets, everybody under 6 years of age. It's got to be an incredible time. Does the Christmas tree stay standing throughout the Christmas?
Well, it was standing at least for a while. We played in New York on Christmas Eve day and flew back. And I got home around 9 o'clock, and there was all these things I had to put together. And of course, I just played a game, and it wasn't a very successful game, but I stayed up till 3 o'clock putting everything together. And how rough that was on me. And then, of course, by 6:30, the kids are beating on me to get up again, and I'm like... So Christmas Day was very interesting to see them flying around for 4 or 5 hours. It was great.
Well, Bill Bates, we'll look forward to having with you here you with us tonight. I'll get it right throughout our Sports Waves show. Our Waveline question tonight, as we do every week, we get you involved with the show. And our Waveline question tonight has to do simply with who you think the best coach in the National Football League is this year, Coach of the Year. Bill Parcells, Dave Wanstedt of Chicago, perhaps Bobby Ross of San Diego, or maybe another coach. Coach Switzer is pictured there, but hey, it could be any other coach that you might think deserves it. 1-800-700-9002 on the wave line. All right, last week during our year-end spectacular, the question was, who would you like to see on Sports Waves in January? We gave you a choice of several guests who we've already had on the show once. Emmett Smith is the overwhelming favorite with 37%. And we would love to have Emmett back on Sports Waves in January. Hopefully, we get Emmett Smith back on the show in January. Charles Haley also got 19% of the vote. When we come back on Sports Waves, we'll have much more with Bill Bates. Also, as we mentioned, Edgar Bennett of the Green Bay Packers joins us. That plus Kevin Williams and Dale Hellestrae of the Cowboys. Stay with us. Sports Waves continues in a moment.
Hi, I'm Jody Gregory. Happy New Year. Sports Waves is brought to you by Europa Sea Cruise. Fun you can bet on. by American Airlines, something special in the air. By the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, the world's largest hotel, casino, and theme park. And by Miami Subs Grill, great food served fast. We'll be right back with the Packers' Edgar Bennett.
Welcome back to Sports Waves. I'm Mike Doocy. Bill Bates of the Dallas Cowboys is with me, and in a moment, Edgar Bennett of the Packers joins us. The Green Bay Packers, as you know, moved through the first round of the playoffs with a win over the Lions. Chicago's defeat of Minnesota sends Green Bay to Dallas for the fourth time in the last 2 seasons. Cowboys have won the 3 previous matchups. This game, well, it might be a little bit closer because the Packers just could be the hottest team of any right now on a playoff roll. Joining us from Green Bay in his 3rd year out of Florida State, welcome running back Edgar Bennett. Edgar. Mixed reaction as you might expect, Edgar, but thanks for joining us. This is Mike Doocy, and Bill Bates is alongside us here. We both had a few questions for you. Our crowd has some questions as well. First of all, congratulations on the win over the Lions in that playoff opener. Always important to get by that first one. How'd you think your team pulled together, especially without Sterling Sharp in that first game?
I think our defense played great. They were really leaders for us out there. They did something that no defense has ever done, and that shut down Barry Sanders completely.
Let's talk about the rematch now with the Dallas Cowboys. As we mentioned, you've gotten your fill of the Cowboys over the last couple of years. You scored a lot of points on them in the Thanksgiving Day game. They scored even more, 42-31 was the final. What did you take from that game as an offense? What did you take away from that game that might help you now in the rematch in the playoffs?
I look at it as a game where we just have to keep concentrating and focus. When we get on the field, we have to execute and make sure we do our assignments in order to put points on the board. I expect it to be another exciting game.
All right. Edgar, I'm sitting here looking at 9 of you. And I hope I don't see that many come Sunday, man. There's a lot of times I'm out there trying to cover you, and it almost like I do see 9 of you. Thanks for coming to my football camp in Jacksonville, and I know you're going to try to do that again, I hope.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it this offseason.
Good. Well, what does losing Sterling for the year do to you guys? I know you want to win the game for him, but I mean, he's such a great player.
Definitely. He's like our go-to guy. He's our leader. He means so much to this team. It definitely was a great loss to lose him, but we are in a situation where we're trying to win it for him now.
Sure, I know that gives guys really a meaning to play, and that's what scares me.
Let's go to our studio audience quickly for a question. Here's Mark Meter. Mark?
All right, thank you very much, Mike. And in case I sound a little funny, it's because I'm with Brett Pulaski, and he's from Mississippi, and I kind of want to make him feel right at home. Brett, you got a question for Edgar?
Yeah, I was wondering how Sterling Sharp's taking not being able to be in the playoffs.
He's a little down about it, because he's a great player and he wants to help the team and do whatever he can to help us win. But his spirits are high right now, so, we're just trying to win it for Sterling.
For those who may not have heard, Sterling Sharp, the great receiver, of course, has a neck problem that ends his season this year and is possibly career-threatening as well. So definitely a story that Green Bay Packer fans don't like to hear. Let's talk about your season individually. Edgar, you've given the Packers a boost in the running game that they've so desperately needed over the last couple of years. You've come through with combined yardage of over 1,000 yards. You've rushed it for about 600 plus and received more than 500 yards worth of passes. How have you played this year?
I think I've played okay this year. There's always room for improvement. I give a lot of credit to God, who's kept me healthy throughout the season. I'm just looking forward to doing whatever I can to help the team, win football games.
Maddie Caldwell's in our studio audience with another question for Edgar Bennett.
Thank you very much, Mike. And Liz here is a big fan of the show, watches all the time, and she's a Green Bay fan. What's your question?
I'd like to ask Edgar if the players in Green Bay and other cities resent all the talk about a Dallas 49er rematch.
Without a doubt.
Talk a little bit more about that, Edgar. Everybody's assuming it's going to be the Cowboys and the Niners for the right to go to the Super Bowl. Does it get under your skin a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. You know, a lot of people are assuming that it's going to be between Dallas and the 49ers, but a lot of people thought Minnesota was going to be playing Dallas this weekend.
Hey, that's right. You have got to give the Green Bay Packers, I mean, all the credit in the world for what their defense did to Detroit. It's amazing. And, you know, you talk about Sterling Sharp being one of the go-to guys. Edgar is one of the go-to guys for Brett Favre. And Brett is having one of the most spectacular seasons. He's really had a great season, and what a competitor. I know that if I was putting together a football team, I'd want him on my team because he's a fighter and a go-to guy.
You saw, Bill Bates, what the Packer offense could do the first time around. They definitely had to get your attention. Huh?
Well, they had us beat in the first quarter, first half, and we just fortunately won that game. But they scored a lot of points, probably more points than anybody scored on us this year. So it's going to be tough to control them, and I know it's going to be a tough game.
Edgar, Packer fans are legendary in their support of their team. I saw some video from the Midwest last week, people waiting outside in 0-degree temperatures to get playoff tickets. How's the city, how's the state responding to your success?
I think everybody's excited about it. I wish Dallas would have to come to Green Bay to play us in this playoff game.
Where's your cheesehead, man? You got it hiding around there?
We'll come back with more. Edgar Bennett will be back with more in just a moment with him. Later, we'll go live to the MGM in Las Vegas and find out what their odds maker, Gene Keevy, says about the games this weekend. But first, here's Maddie, news on our Super Bowl Sports Waves giveaway.
Most people think it's really hard to get to the Super Bowl, but not with Sports Waves and Miami Subs. Come into any Miami Subs grill in Dallas to register for 2 free tickets to Super Bowl 29 in Miami, including airfare for 2 on American Airlines, accommodation at the Key Largo Bay Beach Resort, and if that weren't enough, you can also accompany the Sports Waves crew on assignment. So come into any Miami Subs in Dallas and register today.
Tonight's Sports Waves with Mike Doocy is being sponsored in part by Acura.
Back on Sports Waves, Mike Doocy with Bill Bates, and from Green Bay via satellite, Edgar Bennett of the Green Bay Packers. Edgar, you guys had trouble running the football against the Cowboys back in Thanksgiving. I think you had 12 yards rushing individually. What do you have to do differently to run the ball effectively against Dallas this time around?
I think we have to execute better. Dallas defense is great. They have a lot of speed. Yeah. They got a lot of guys moving around and pursuing to the football.
Bill, what do you, from the other side of the ball, you saw the Packers struggle running the ball. Obviously, That gives you confidence to think that you can shut them down again.
Well, of course, I want Edgar to give us all the secrets he can give us. But that Thanksgiving Day game, man, it was what a great game. For us, obviously, having Jason Garrett come out and do what he did was amazing. But, the guy that I have a lot of respect for and is a great friend of mine is Reggie White. And seeing what Reggie does to offensive linemen, we have a tackle that is Larry Allen. That's a rookie that has taken over for Eric Williams, and I know that we don't want to see Reggie in the backfield that often, because he is so great. So don't get him too stoked up.
You saw some highlights there as the Packers had the Favre to Sharp combination working beautifully, and the Cowboys came back with the 36 second-half points. Yeah, Reggie White's been a storyline, Edgar, throughout the season. I know you play on the opposite side of the football, but what has he meant over the last couple of years of this team?
I think he's a great leader. Reggie White is the type of guy that goes out every game and gives it his best. He's going to make plays. I'm just glad that I play for him and not against him.
That's right. Well, he's not attacking you, right?
Back in the studio audience, questions for Edgar Bennett of the Packers. Mark Meter.
All right, thank you, Mike. I'm with Barry Joyner, and he's a data processor now, but he played a little football himself, and he's got a question for Edgar Bennett. Barry?
Hi, Edgar. I was sort of curious. Who are some of the hardest hitters that you faced in the NFL?
Definitely the Dallas Cowboys defense.
Edgar, anybody else come to mind, individuals who can really pop you?
One of the first guys that come to mind would be Sean Gill of the Chicago Bears. You know, he really comes up and he'll really come up and hit you.
All right, we're going to talk a little history now in this Packers-Cowboys rivalry. Next week on Sports Waves, Mr. Cowboy, Bob Lilly, will be joining us. In 1967, Bob Lilly played in the most famous game of the 60s, the Ice Bowl. He took these pictures, which appear in his book. 13 below zero actual temperature that day, wind chill at 50 below zero. Edgar Bennett, it was the last historic moment, you might say, at Lambeau Field. Talk about maybe this game as it defines the Dallas-Green Bay rivalry. Obviously, you were a long, long way from being into the picture at that point, but do people still talk about the Ice Bowl often in Green Bay, especially when a Dallas-Packers matchup is coming up?
Yeah, the first thing they talk about is how cold it was, you know, and how Green Bay, you know, drove the ball and got it in on the last play of the game. You know, it was an exciting game, and we're looking for a similar game this weekend.
Mike, Jimmy Johnson's first year, we went up to Green Bay to play, and we were at a hotel close by, and our wake-up call was, "Good morning, glad to have you in Green Bay. Wind chill is minus 52 degrees, and temperature is 20 below." And they were just, I don't know, what a wake up in the morning or something like that. Hopefully it won't be like down in Dallas.
Yeah, you're hoping for a cold front to sweep through Texas on Sunday, Edgar?
I wouldn't mind. Right about now in Green Bay, it's 15 degrees.
Whoa.
You've seen, obviously, the Cowboys often, as we said. Does it give you more confidence, more respect? Do you tend to fear a team more when you've seen them beat you 3 times in a row? Or do you feel more confident because you maybe know some things about them?
Well, to be honest with you, I feel this game is going to be about respect. You know, we're going to go out and do whatever we have to do to win the football game. Simple as that.
Edgar, more questions from our studio audience. Maddie Caldwell.
Dallas and Green Bay is on everybody's mind today, Mike, including this Sports Wave sports fan.
Rick Smith.
Thank you, Rick.
Hey, Edgar, do you feel like it's easier to prepare for the Cowboys since y'all already played them once recently in the regular season?
It's always difficult to prepare for them. You know, we know what they're going to do. We know what they're going to try to do. You know, we got a lot of film to watch. It's just going to be one of those type of things we have to execute.
Edgar, I can tell you don't want to put any bulletin board material at all on those Cowboys bulletin boards.
Yeah, the one
calculated, he's being pretty diplomatic.
That's right. The one thing you can't control is, you know, you may know the X's and O's, but it's Brett Favre doing what he does. You probably don't know what he's going to do sometimes. He's running around and looking like he's going to run and then throws the ball. That's scary.
Is this the best stretch that Favre has given the Packers, the most consistent football he's played for them, do you think, this last stretch of ball games?
I think so. Brett is doing a great job. He's on fire right now. The more we give him time, the more he'll just tear up a defense.
Again, we're talking Cowboys-Packers with Edgar Bennett of Green Bay, and Mark Meter is standing by. Mark?
All right, Mike, thank you much. I got Dustin Bone with me. He's got another question for Edgar Bennett. Dustin?
Y'all talk about, or Dallas has been easier to rush on, but yet y'all attempted to pass on them this year. Any reason why?
Well, we never really said they were easy to rush on. We know it's difficult to run the football against them. We're the type of offense, we'll take whatever the defense gives us. If it's easier to pass, we'll throw the football.
All right, Edgar Bennett, Green Bay Packers. Have a good time this weekend. Enjoy yourself, and best of luck as the playoffs continue.
Good luck,
Edgar Bennett of the Green Bay Packers. Thank you very much for joining us. Bill Bates, let's talk a little bit about some of the things we discussed with Edgar. They had trouble running the ball the first time around. They passed the ball very effectively. Do you see their attack, their offensive strategy changing any for this rematch?
Well, they have really the San Francisco type offense. Getting 5 guys out on a pass, quick 1, 2, 3-step drop, that is really their running game. Then they work in some runs, obviously, but the running game is really the pass game, and that's what makes it very difficult. Is that if they do have time to throw the ball, it makes it tough on a defense.
How does the fact that Green Bay doesn't have Sterling Sharp affect the Cowboy preparation?
Well, it's believe it or not, it's probably a little more difficult because you know that guy's not there. His go-to guy, Brett Favre's go-to guy all the time now, he's got many more options. He always had those, but now you don't know which way he's going to go, and it's going to be tough. But they've got great players, and really the players who make the plays are going to win the game.
Let's talk about the Cowboys a little bit here. A 12-4 season, very, very respectable regular season, another division championship. But still, I think a lot of the feel in Dallas with the talk shows, et cetera, with a lot of the fans, is that this Cowboy team is in a little bit of trouble. It struggled late in the season. Do you sense that, and do you think there's reason for concern among fans right now?
Well, a lot of times, I've been playing the game a long time in the NFL, and a long season, there's certain games throughout the season that are huge games. I mean, that you have to win those games. And really, for us, it was probably the first game of the season because we wanted to get out a good start, show that the coach didn't make a difference. We were going to win, and we played great against Pittsburgh. And then as time went, we won when we weren't playing our best football. Of course, I think the Green Bay game was a big-time game because we had some guys hurt. But after that point, there were really no games that you had to win. And this one is definitely one of those games where we're pushing that button now.
All right, we're coming back with more Sports Waves in just a moment. Dale Hellestrae of the Cowboys will be with us. We'll go live to Vegas as well. And also still ahead, well, there's nobody more exciting when he gets his hands on the football than Kevin Williams of the Dallas Cowboys. That's still ahead when we come back on Sports Waves. Make sure to give us a call on the Wave line. The lines are open all week long, and we're asking for your vote for Coach of the Year. Give us a call on the Wave line. I'm Mike Doocy. Bill Bates with us on Sports Waves tonight as well. And we're going to go to Vegas now. The odds makers there have set the point spread on this weekend's playoff games. And let's go to the MGM Grand Hotel and Casino. Race and Sportsbook Director Gene Keevy joins us now. Gene, thanks for joining us, and welcome to Sports Waves. Good to have you with us.
It's great to be on Sports Wave, and it's great to have Sports Wave here at the MGM Grand Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas.
Let's talk a little bit about your title, Race and Sportsbook Director. Tell us what you do.
Watch a lot of football games. What else is there? Watch a lot of horse racing. It's a job that everybody in this business would love to do because they pay me great money for watching all these games and posting lines on all the games and watching them and making the halftime line for every game.
I guess when we're speaking of football, as you said, you're one of a very few people in Las Vegas who actually does establish or help to establish the point spreads on football games, right?
Right. What we do is we have Michael Roxborough from Las Vegas Sports Consultants that basically makes the line for 40-some places in the state of Nevada, and my job is to adjust them as my customers are going to play each game.
All right, let's talk about this weekend's playoff games now. Green Bay is a 10-point underdog at Dallas. I wonder if you could talk about each game and what went into your thinking in terms of making teams favorites and by how much. Green Bay gets 10 at Dallas.
Well, you look at this game here, the Packers, like you said, are getting 10 points from the Dallas Cowboys, and the Packers are kind of hot right now. And you look at Brett Favre, probably the last 6-7 weeks of the season, he's probably the hottest quarterback. His stock has risen from number 15 in passing up to like number 3 right now. And even though Sterling Sharp got hurt and is out for the rest of the year, I think the Packers are going to go as far as Brett Favre will carry him in this spot.
Chicago at San Francisco. Everybody knew there'd be a wide spread on this, and sure enough, there is. 15 points on this game. The Niners are the favorite in this game. I guess in part it's obvious, but that's awful widespread for a playoff game.
Well, it's probably the highest spread that we've had for quite a while in a playoff game, but if you look at the way the 49ers have played the last 7 weeks of the season, they've probably been the hottest team out there. But the bad thing is they had a week off, and you don't know right now, are the Packers or are the 49ers, did they peak too early? And we're going to find out on Sunday. Also, in the AFC, Cleveland gets 3.5 points at Pittsburgh. You're thinking on establishing the line there. Well, here you look at, Pittsburgh-Cleveland is kind of a unique matchup. Can the Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Cleveland Browns 3 times in the same season? Even though you have a matchup here where the quarterbacks aren't household names with O'Donnell and Testaverde and Rippon as the backup, but this is going to be a defensive struggle right here in this game here, and I think with the total of being 32, you're going to have to look at a very low-scoring game.
And the other AFC game, I would guess, would also have been a difficult one in terms of establishing a line on it. Miami gets 3.5 at San Diego. What were you thinking as the Miami-San Diego matchup? You're thinking in making the Chargers a 3-point favorite. You may have lost Gene.
Okay,
Can you hear me, Gene?
You have a unique matchup here with the Chargers and the Dolphins because you have Marino, which is probably an old, wily veteran quarterback that's been around a long time, and as long as Marino plays well, who knows how far he can take the Dolphins in this spot. And you look on the Charger side of it, you have a very young team, and they're kind of like the Patriots. They're an up-and-coming team, and maybe they might be a year or two away, but the Chargers still have that great defense. But I think this game is going to come down to how well Marino is going to play in this spot.
Gene Keevy from the MGM Grand Hotel and Casino is with us, and we go to our studio audience now. Maddie Caldwell.
Thank you very much, Mike. And Dirk Phillips has a question. He certainly wouldn't mind Gene Keevy's job.
Gene, I want to know, you being an odds maker, if you think betting taints the game at all.
I think Gene's having some trouble with his audio. Gene, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Gene? There's a lot of activity going on behind Gene. Gene has no idea that I'm talking to him right now. We'll hope to go back to Gene a little bit later in Sports Waves. We do appreciate him joining us. Gene Keevy, the MGM Grand Hotel and Casino Race and Sportsbook Director. Bill, anything you care to add? I didn't think so.
No.
Thanks for joining us
again,
Gene Keevy from Las Vegas. Kevin Williams will still be with us when we come back. You think Kevin had a little trouble watching that Orange Bowl game?
Oh, man, I know it had to be tough on him. There's a lot of guys in our locker room that was hurting.
Yeah, the former Miami star, now Dallas Cowboys wide receiver, will join us. Kevin Williams is coming up. We'll talk with him and have much more for you. Sports Waves returns in just a few minutes.
I'm Tamora Moore. This portion of Sports Waves is brought to you by Kroger, your total value leader. Now,
Hi, I'm Dale Hellestrae of the Dallas Cowboys. I do the deep snapping for them. A lot of people don't realize what a difficult job it is to bend over and have to look at everything upside down. So I'm going to try and snap this ball through the waterfall, and we'll give it a shot right here. There it is, 99 in a row. Should we go for 100?
Dale Hellestrae, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, let's hear it for him again. Great job. There he is. He's in our studio audience, too. He's hiding right now, but maybe we'll get a shot of him in a little while. Unbelievable skill there to get that through the waterfall. Welcome back to Sports Waves. Up next, another member of the Dallas Cowboys. As I said earlier, a guy who is as exciting as anybody when he gets his hands on the football. His second year out of Miami. Welcome wide receiver from the Cowboys, Kevin Williams. Well, Kevin, let's get it out of the way right away. Second year out of Miami. Miami fans and former players are in mourning, obviously, after the loss to Nebraska. As you see it, and I know you former players watch with a pretty critical eye. What happened?
They don't have me anymore, I guess. they don't have me down there. I don't know. But they played pretty good all the way up until the last of the fourth quarter. I'm still proud of all those guys down there. They play real good.
You know, there's a lot of publicity again now. This is a subject that comes up every time Miami's involved in a national championship picture, which is often, but the Miami style. You know, Warren Sapp was very emotional in that game. There was a lot of taunting going on, a lot of talk. Your thoughts on the criticism of the Miami style? I know you've had to defend it a lot.
Well, we go out there, we play football, and we have fun doing it. enjoying ourselves, jumping everywhere, talking a lot of noise. That's the Miami style. We have fun, and a lot of people stand back and criticize them. Okay, it's a little out of hand. Sometimes I do think it gets a little out of hand, but the guys are having a lot of fun out there, and I don't think there's nothing wrong with having fun and jumping around if you make a good play.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the Cowboys now, and you and Bill Bates, of course, work very closely together on special teams. Bill, talk about this guy and what he can do with that football as a kick returner.
Well, it is. I mean, it's a thrill to block for a guy like K-Dub because I mean, the guy can break him anytime, and that's what's exciting for us. And I know the last time we played Green Bay, I mean, it was a big return that really helped turn the game around. And what do you know about Green Bay? You know, how do you feel about their kicking game? And I know they got a good one.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Green Bay has won overall special teams. Every aspect of the special teams is like, you know, in the top percentage of the league. And we always have to prepare extra tough for them, and because we know they're going to bring the sack lunch to the party, and we're going to bring ours too. So it's always a good battle.
Let's go back to our studio audience. Mark Meter with a very special fan. Mark?
All right, thank you very much, Mike. He's the guy that just centered that football through the waterfall, and he's got a question he wants to ask. Dale?
Yeah, I have a question for Bill Bates. Bill, we went out golfing the other day, and, you know, you've come with a lot of excuses about your broken wrist and your broken thumb and this, that, and the other thing, and I'd just like you to tell some of your fans here what kind of golf outing you had.
Well, actually, it was a very successful one for me, even though I was playing. I had to give up strokes, even though I've got broken bones in my hand. I've got screws in my thumb. And these guys are still, Troy and Dale are still making me give them strokes. Don't you guys think that's just terrible? and still come out victorious.
These guys, I'll tell you, they're hard. They're tough.
I can't believe you brought it up. You know,
it's a tough crowd tonight.
It really is.
Kevin, just to shift gears for just a second, if I might, taking away the special teams play, just looking at how you're used or not used as a wide receiver. Do you feel you're used enough? How do you feel about your role as a player who can get it done from the wide receiver spot for the Cowboys?
Well, my opinion doesn't mean a whole bunch to the coaches, but I feel like I should, you know, get the ball a lot more than what I do. But, you know, I understand my role. I'm a third down receiver, and when they need me, then I go in and do my job. If they don't need me, I just sit back and wait till coach calls me. I can't control that.
Popular question right now has to do with, okay, are the Cowboys ready for the playoffs? What's your feeling as a guy who played for Jimmy and now as a guy who plays for Barry in terms of their different approaches to getting a team ready for the playoffs? Can the Switzer way work, do you feel?
Yes, most definitely. Coach Switzer and Coach Johnson are both great coaches. Their styles are different, of course. Coach Switzer is a little laid back, but it's still effective. And the way we've been practicing this week and last week, I mean, it's a whole different team. The level of play has went up so high.
Kevin, with so many weapons on our offense, and I know you want to get the ball, but there's so many weapons on our offense, what are we going to have to do to Green Bay to actually move the ball down the field and score points? Because this year, I know that the defense likes to be on the sideline. We want the offense to have the ball for a long time, and we want to see those controlled drives. What are we going to have to do against Green Bay?
Well, probably take a different approach. Keep them off balance a little bit. But you have to establish a running game. We have to let Emmett run with the ball.
Let him go.
And just let him get his yards and establish that. And when he gets his yards, then it opens up alleys for the rest of the guys. And then as he, you know, everybody start focusing in on Emmett, then you hit Mike Irvin down the sideline for a touchdown, to throw it up to Hop, and let Hop go up and get it, and just keep him off balance. We just got to keep him off balance. That's probably what we have to do.
Back to our studio audience. Here's Maddie.
Thank you very much, Mike. John Dillard here is 14 years old. He plays hockey and football, and he's a big Cowboys fan.
Hi, Kevin, why do you think the Miami Hurricanes football players brag so much?
Because they're good. Good question. Because we have God-given talents, and we're very proud of our God-given talents. So we want to let everybody know how good we are. how much talent we have.
You know, I have been listening about coaching changes here lately, and I know probably the game last night was Erickson's fault. So, would he be a good candidate for a professional football coach, knowing now what you know about professional coaches?
Yes, I think he is. He's a player's coach. Probably like all coaches that come into the league early, he'll have to learn. He'll take his bumps and bruises and different things like that. The losing season starting off and different things. But he can relate to the players a lot.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he's up for some coaching jobs.
You see Dennis Erickson going to Seattle? You see that happening?
Did he say that?
Do you see it happening?
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, I see it happening, but I don't know.
Hasn't been announced yet.
Yeah,
No.
the rumor is that.
Kevin Williams is our guest, and Bill Bates as well. We'll come back with more at Sports Waves in just a minute.
Welcome back. We want to know who the NFL Coach of the Year should be. Alice, what do you think?
I think it should be Bill Parcells.
Really? I think Dave Lundstedt.
We want to know what you think.
Call us toll-free on the wave line at 1-800-700-9002 and cast your vote.
The Big Kahuna.
Monday, October 17th, in the season's best game, Joe Montana outduels John Elway, throwing the game-winning touchdown here to Willie Davis with just seconds remaining. Joe Montana's shining moment, the 1994 Big Kahuna.
Leaping grab, Willie Davis! Touchdown, Kansas City! Willie Davis made the catch!
We're back on Sports Waves. Mike Doocy, Kevin Williams, Bill Bates. Guys, we saw Joe Montana on the Big Kahuna, our play of the year, with the touchdown toss that beat Denver. Of course, Montana out of the playoffs now. Just as guys who play in the NFL, your thoughts on Montana returning? I say he comes back for another year. As a guy, it's been wondered about you every year for about the last 5.
I say he comes back. Man, he's such a competitor, and he loves the game of football. Obviously, to play as long as he has, and as great as he is. Unfortunately, maybe didn't have the team surrounding him. Their defense kind of fell off at the end of the year. But what a great quarterback. And I know I played against him when he was with San Francisco a number of times, and you just never knew what to expect from that guy, and he's still got it.
Probably haven't given it much thought. Do you think Joe Montana will return?
I think so. My opinion is just like Bill's. I mean, he's a competitor. I mean, and I still see a few more years in him. I mean, things he's doing now.
So Jay Lombardo
still has zip on the ball. The Miami games is amazing.
Yeah, I'll be really surprised too if he calls it quits right now. Let's go back to our studio audience. Here's Mark.
Thank you, Mike. And you can tell the Dallas Cowboys had a bye this week because they're all here hanging out at Sports Waves, including Lincoln Coleman. And Lincoln's got a question for Kevin Williams.
Kevin, I just wanted to know if is it more pressure that you're playing for the back-to-back Super Bowl champion Cowboys, or when you return those punts and kickoffs, it's the fact that you're from Dallas?
Well, I didn't bring Lincoln here to ask me questions. Thanks, Link. Thanks, Link.
They made me do it.
How has being a Dallas native?
I mean, it has its plus and its minuses.
Tickets, huh?
Tickets is the minus part. I mean, 40 tickets a week and things like that. But it's been great playing in front of the home crowd. I mean, and there's much love around here.
Isn't it great?
It is. It is.
I want to talk with you about the actual process of returning a kick. Lincoln mentioned the pressure. I've often thought that there's a lot of pressure involved each and every time you have to take one of those balls out of the air. What are you thinking about as that thing is coming at you end over end or spiraling or whatever the case may be as you're ready to make your move up the field?
Well, the first thing is trying to catch it, because the ball will play tricks on you. It's depending on the weather, and it does different things. So the most important thing is to catch it. And we have Coach Avellano has been on a great job at giving us some assignments and making adjustments, doing different things if I want to run right or left, if the kick is short. So you have to think of all this. If the kick is short, you got to have trust in your guys to come up and stop their break short and get some good blocks. And I just have faith in men like Billy and Van Der Beek and all those guys. They put 100% of what they're doing, and it makes me feel more comfortable back there.
Maddie Caldwell with another question from our audience. Matt.
Thank you very much, Mike. Bill here is stationed in California. You're in the Air Force. You watch Sports Waves in California. You got a question.
Kevin, has any coach ever thought you were too small to play in professional football?
Excuse me?
Any coach ever thought you were too small to be a pro football player?
Yes, that happened. That started a long time ago, man.
Join the club, right?
Join the club, man. I'm short, but that's what makes me myself.
They do call him Short Dog.
just proving it. just proving everybody wrong. I mean, they figure you're short and you can't do too much. He's short here. Let him stay on the sideline and stuff like that when I was little. So you always want to go against the grain just to prove everybody wrong, because it's a good feeling when they look and say, oh, okay.
Any special plans for the hair this week? Maybe a star?
No, I'm going to keep it basic.
All right.
Basic.
All right. Kevin Williams, thanks for joining us. We
Thanks a
appreciate
lot.
it. Good luck this weekend. Kevin Williams, the Cowboy. And as you have seen earlier tonight, Dale Hellestrae is with us as well. The long snapper for the Cowboys. Always a lot of fun. We'll spend a few minutes with Dale Hellestrae. You can join Sports Waves at Super Bowl 29 in Miami by signing up at any Miami subs in the Dallas area. You'll receive 2 tickets to the game, airfare for 2 on American Airlines, accommodations at the beautiful Key Largo Bay Beach Resort. You can be there to see the Super Bowl. Sign up today at Miami Subs Grill. We'll be right back.
Bad hair day? Who has time to spend with frustrating hair?
Largest hotel, casino, and theme park. And by Miami Subs Grill. Great food served fast.
Back on Sports Waves, I'm Mike Doocy, and our wave line is open. Give us a call. It's open all week. Who do you feel the NFL Coach of the Year should be? Well, so far, most of the people calling in feel that Dave Wanstead of the Chicago Bears should be Coach of the Year. 52%. Bill Parcells second in the voting right now with 20. 1-800-700-9002. Actually, other was second with 21%, and some of those other for Barry Switzer, apparently. They're 1-800-700-9002. Dale Hellestrae has joined us. He's exhausted after snapping through the waterfall earlier tonight. A lot of pressure on you for that. How'd you do it?
How did I do it? Well, there was a lot of pressure, since how they gave me about 2 minutes to do it, not a whole lot of warm-up time, but I think we came out all right.
Mike, Dale has taken deep snapping to a new level. I have never seen a guy deep snap through so many things. We got a waterfall, we got a cab, and what's next, Dale? Empire State Building?
I'll tell you what, if you come up with something, I'll try it.
You're known as somewhat of a philosopher on this Dallas Cowboy team. Is this team in a little bit of trouble right now, or is this team okay going into the playoffs?
I think this team's all right. I think number one, we just need to focus on the task at hand and kind of just get away from the press and the public opinion and all that, because that has seeped into the locker room a little bit, as far as everybody having negative feelings about our team. And we just need to focus in on what we need to do and forget about that stuff.
I heard that possibly the only reason you came on Sports Waves was for the free suit from Lombardo. Any truth to that at all?
I've been working it all year long to try and get a free suit from Lombardo's, and they said that this might be one of the last shows, and so they're going to try and squeeze me in there, and here I am.
Well, thanks for that sincere wish to come on Sports Waves. We appreciate it. Dale Hellestrae, the Cowboys. Bill Bates, good being with you tonight. Thank you very much. Bill Bates has a big party, as he has every year, a big pep rally at the ranch. It's coming up on Friday night.
Friday night.
And for those folks who are watching us in Dallas, you're going to hear much more about it as the week goes along. The big pep rally for Cowboy fans at Bill Bates Ranch. We'd like to thank our special guests tonight. As you mentioned, Bill Bates, Dale Hellestrae with us, and also Edgar Bennett of the Green Bay Packers. Thank you very much for being with us as well. Next week, former Cowboy Bob Lilly, as we mentioned, he has a new book out. We'll hear more about that. Thanks to all of our sponsors, including the Melrose Hotel in Dallas. I'm Mike Doocy. Happy New Year, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Everything is alright. Loving you is alright. Everything is alright. Everything is alright. Loving you is alright. Come on, sing it. Everything is alright. Everything is alright. Loving you is alright. Everything is alright.
Wardrobe by Lombardo Custom Apparel, America's finest custom clothing. Accommodations in South Florida provided by the Marriott Key Largo Bay Beach Resort. And in Dallas, Jimmy Johnson and his guests stay at the beautiful Melrose Hotel. Sports Waves is a presentation of DCL Media and Lone Star Hospitality Corporation.
Everything is alright. Loving you